I think more shock and dauntingness was more of the feeling I felt. But it was, the thing is, I think I was on such a high anyway, and so was Catherine.
Midnight strikes. A royal aircraft slices through the dark London sky, carrying Prince William, the heir apparent, away without explanation. No destination is disclosed, no motive revealed. Even Catherine witnesses only his silent departure, a narrow leather briefcase in hand, his gaze hardened like tempered steel. 3 days earlier, a shaking maid had slipped William a dossier that had fallen from Queen Camilla's private chambers. Inside lay confidential letters, their contents hinting at a covert scheme to reshape the royal family. One that would elevate Tom Parker Bowles, her son, into a role of ceremonial authority. Now, as Camilla awakens to an unsettling stillness within the palace and learns that William has vanished, she understands that control is slipping through her fingers. He pursues the truth in a distant land. She scrambles to erase every trace in fear. And caught between them, one question lingers. Who is truly the hunter? And who is being hunted? A dense fog smothers Heathrow, a dull gray veil swallowing the glow of the runway lights. Inside the aircraft cabin sits a single passenger, Prince William. He wears a black cashmere coat, a wool scarf drawn high across his face, and his hand clamps tightly around a narrow, dark brown leather briefcase, the sole item he has brought with him. There is no checked luggage, no security detail, no aides. The flight crew has been instructed to maintain complete silence. All they know is that the plane is bound for Oslo and that their passenger is a VIP who prefers to remain unidentified. This is unlike William in every way. For 3 decades, his life has been mapped down to the minute. Yet tonight, his heart races like that of a man on the run. 3 days earlier, at Clarence House, the most devoted maid in Queen Camilla's household, Agnes, who has served the family since Diana's era, had been dusting the Queen's private room when a heavy dossier slid out from beneath an antique wardrobe and struck the polished oak floor with a dull thud. Agnes froze. She bent to pick it up, but instinct warned her that what she held spelled danger. Without hesitation, she went straight to William, pressed the dossier into his hands, and withdrew with a respectful curtsy. Later, alone in his Kensington Palace study, illuminated by a single low desk lamp, William opened it. Inside were handwritten letters in dark blue ink, aged royal documents stamped confidential, and, most alarming of all, correspondence between Camilla and Harald Eriksson, a retired royal ceremonial officer now living quietly in Norway. What he read made his blood run cold. The documents detailed a secret effort to manipulate royal appointments. Camilla had been discreetly maneuvering to have Tom Parker Bowles, her son from her first marriage, installed as senior ceremonial advisor, a role traditionally reserved for those of direct Windsor lineage. These were not vague intentions or empty assurances. Among the papers lay an internal minutes sheet dated 2018, bearing Harold's signature beneath a commitment to revise appointment criteria to reflect a modernizing vision. There were also encrypted emails sent from Camilla's private account, promising substantial financial support for Harold's charity in return for his cooperation. Tom Parker Bowles, the man never officially acknowledged by the firm, the figure murmured about in aristocratic circles as the spare from the first marriage, was on the brink of securing a position that could shape everything from coronation protocols to invitation lists. A concealed weapon aimed at the legacy of William's mother, and at the future of his own children. William read on until the ink blurred beneath his shaking fingers. He photographed every page, saved the images in an encrypted folder, and before dawn carefully returned the dossier to its precise hiding place. He said nothing to Catherine. She was asleep after a long day with the children. He told nothing to his father. King Charles would only urge restraint, advise handling it quietly, preserving the facade. At 11 that night, William called his private pilot, his voice cold and controlled. "Prepare the jet for Oslo. No records, no announcements. Departure at 2 a.m. Catherine slept on, unaware. During the drive to the airport, William stared through the car window at a slumbering London, ancient buildings sliding past like specters. He recalled Camilla's affectionate smile at George's birthday celebration, now exposed as carefully calculated steel. "You've gone too far," he murmured, his breath clouding the glass. The jet thundered into the northern night, its engines drowning the frantic rhythm of his heart. William opened the briefcase and reviewed the photographed pages once more. Every line felt like a wound. High above the clouds, he was seized by an overwhelming loneliness, the thin air at 35,000 feet reflecting the isolation closing in around him. Oslo lay ahead, and with it, Harold Eriksson, the man who held too much knowledge, either the key to the truth or the snare. At dawn, the plane touched down on Gardermoen's frozen runway, snowflakes drifting lazily across the tarmac. William rented a black Volvo with no distinguishing plates and drove straight into the city. The wind cut sharply through his collar, but he felt no chill, only the fire burning within him. Harold's address was in Grünerløkka, a bohemian quarter of red brick buildings. William parked a block away and walked to apartment 12. The door was locked, a thick layer of dust coating the handle. He knocked on the neighboring door, which was answered by an elderly Norwegian woman with pale blue eyes. "Harold?" "He left suddenly 3 months ago," she said, her voice unsteady. 2 Englishmen in dark suits came asking about him, very official. They questioned him, and that very night, Harold disappeared. William stiffened. Someone had arrived before him, and he knew exactly who. The chase was only beginning, and Camilla would not remain still while her quarry slipped out of reach. Back in England, weak autumn sunlight seeps through the heavy velvet curtains of Clarence House, spilling across the 3-meter walnut breakfast table. A pot of Earl Grey releases quiet steam beside neatly cut toast, untouched. The chair customarily reserved for Prince William remains conspicuously vacant. Queen Camilla, dressed in a cream silk robe with her silver hair pinned high, sets her butter knife down with a sharp click. Her gaze tightens not at the light, but at an instinct honed to a blade's edge. "Where is William?" Her voice is composed, yet Reginald, the head butler, who has served the household since 1987, detects the strain beneath its polished calm. "Your Majesty, the prince departed the palace at 11:45 p.m. There was no full briefing, only mention of urgent private business. Our contact among the flight crew confirms the jet departed heading north." Camilla offers no reply. Her fingers drift to the triple-strand pearl necklace, Charles's anniversary gift, pressing the pearls until they bite into her skin. North. Only one thing could have pulled William from London in the dead of night without warning: the dossier. She stands, her silk robe whispering across the Persian carpet, like a specter. Pushing open the door to her private chamber, she goes straight to the antique wardrobe. It remains locked, but she already knows. She always knows when her territory has been violated. Slender fingers trace the narrow space beneath its base. Cold. Empty. The dossier is gone. Camilla sinks into the Italian leather armchair, her face drained of color beneath flawless makeup. Memories surge back. 2018, this very room, her pen gliding across paper as she composed a handwritten letter to Harold Erickson, promising a fitting position for Tom if he would adjust the ceremonial appointment rules. Harold, once a senior ceremonial secretary, had complied. He altered the clause from restricted to direct royal blood to may extend to wider family members. With that single change, Tom Parker Bowles, her only child from her first marriage, would gain a place on the Coronation Protocol Committee. Two objectives achieved at once: elevate her son and shape William's future. But now William knows. She rings the silver bell. Reginald, doubling as her discreet private secretary, appears at once. Remove every trace of Harold Erickson from the royal archives. Emails, minutes, call records, everything, immediately. Even the physical files, ma'am. Burn them. Next, she dials the head of security, Marcus, former MI5, now quietly retained on her personal payroll. Send 2 men to Oslo, shadow William. I want updates by the minute. And Erickson, Your Majesty? Contact him. Remind him of the charity funding he accepted. And remind him of his family in Surrey. The call ends. Camilla returns to the antique desk and opens her secure laptop. She types a new message to Harold. Harold, Prince William is searching for you. Do not allow the past to endanger the present. Your family, especially your grandson at Eton, expects your discretion. I will protect you, as promised. Camilla. She sends the message, closes the laptop, and strides into the corridor. Servants bow as she passes, though she catches the murmurs trailing behind her. The Queen seems sharper than usual. She ignores them. She is Queen. Queens do not panic. By midday, the British press explodes. The Sun splashes a blurred photograph of William at Heathrow across its front page. Prince William vanishes at midnight. Health scare? Camilla appears on camera at the opening of a royal art exhibition, her smile flawless, her tone reassuring. William simply requires a short rest after an intense schedule, she says warmly. The royal family remains fully united. Inside, however, the storm gathers. Late in the afternoon, Marcus reports via an encrypted line. The prince has arrived in Oslo. He's heading toward Gruner Luca, Ericsson's address. Camilla's grip tightens around the phone. Increase surveillance. If necessary, intervene. She moves to the dressing room and selects a sharply cut black suit. That evening, she will attend a charity gala at Buckingham Palace, but her thoughts are fixed on Oslo. Harold must remain silent. William must be stopped. Tom must be shielded. She studies her reflection, her eyes now cold as ice. I survived Diana. I survived Meghan. I survived Harry, she murmurs. I will survive William. The clock strikes 6. Clarence House glows beneath crystal chandeliers, yet a deeper darkness seeps outward from the Queen's chambers. The game has begun, and Camilla has never learned how to lose. In Norway, thick snow smothers the red-tiled rooftops of Gruner Luca, transforming its narrow streets into pale, silent corridors. William stands before the iron door marked 12, his breath blooming white in the freezing air. He knocks again, despite knowing the apartment is vacant. Through the dust-clouded glass panel, he glimpses furniture shrouded in white sheets, like a tomb long abandoned. Behind him lingers the neighbor, Astrid, clutching her woolen shawl. "Harold said nothing before he left," she repeats, her voice trembling from cold or fear. "Only that he had family matters in England." But I saw his hands shake, his eyes, like someone being chased by ghosts. William forces a calm, reassuring smile. "Do you remember the exact day he left?" "Tuesday, the 3rd week of September," she replies. "I remember because it was my grandson's birthday." She gestures down the dim corridor. "He left a spare key in the mailbox. I kept it, in case he came back." Inside the flat, the air smells of mildew and old paper. The small 2-room apartment has been left in careful order, as though its owner expected to return within days. On the desk rests a picture frame placed face down. William turns it over. The photograph shows a younger Harold Erickson in full ceremonial uniform beside Queen Elizabeth II, dated 1998. William's fingers trace the confident smile of a man who has now vanished. He searches the drawers. Most contain nothing but faded receipts, until he finds a leather-bound notebook. On its final page, a penciled message stands out. Lars H. Aker Brygge, office, 15th of September, trust no one. William photographs the page, his pulse quickening. Lars Hansen, an architect who had worked with Harold during the 2015 refurbishment of Buckingham Palace. A lead. As William leaves the flat, he senses movement across the street. A silhouette withdraws behind a curtain. He doesn't chase it. He knows he's being watched. Instead, he drives into the city center, parks in an underground garage, and checks into the small Fjordglimt hotel under the name Wilhelm Andersen. In his room, he spreads the photographed dossier pages across the bed. One handwritten note from Camilla, dated 2021, catches his eye. "Tom needs this position to prove his worth. Harold, no one understands protocol better than you. Make it happen." The elegant deep blue ink is unmistakable, the same handwriting she once used in love letters to his father. Using a burner phone, William calls Lars Hansen. A guarded Norwegian voice answers. "Who is this?" "An old friend of Harold's," William replies. "He left an urgent message, said we needed to meet." Silence stretches, then, cautiously, "Tonight, 7 o'clock. William arrives early, choosing the darkest corner of the cafe, his cap pulled low. Lars Hansen enters exactly on time. Mid-50s, silver beard, roll-neck sweater, eyes darting like a hunted animal. He sits without offering a handshake. "Harold is gone," Lars says flatly, his voice rough with tobacco. 3 months ago he called me. Said people from London had come, threatening his family. A powerful woman. William slides a cup of coffee toward him. "Camilla?" Lars gives a slight nod, staring out the window. She didn't contact him directly. Her men did, 2 of them. Dark suits, perfect English. They said if Harold spoke about Project Tom, his daughter in Manchester would suffer an accident. His hand trembles as he lifts the cup. "Harold told me everything. Back in 2018, Camilla wanted the rules for ceremonial advisors changed. Harold forged the minutes, used language like diversifying human resources to legitimize Tom Parker Bowles. In exchange, £2 million went to his charity." William's grip tightens until the porcelain cracks. Did Harold keep evidence? Yes. An audio recording from a meeting at Clarence House, Camilla's voice, clear as day. Before he disappeared, he mailed me an envelope. Told me to open it only if he died. Lars slides a thick envelope across the table. "I don't want it. You take it." Under the cafe's dim light, William opens the envelope. Inside, a tiny USB drive and a handwritten note. If I die, send this to William. Do not trust Camilla." He plugs the drive into his phone and listens through earbuds. Camilla's voice, cold and precise. Tom will be seated as senior advisor before the coronation. "Harold, can you arrange it?" Harold's reply, strained. "Your Majesty, but Prince William—" Camilla cuts him off. "William will understand, or he won't need to." William removes the earbuds, his face drained of color. Lars rises abruptly. "I have to leave. If they know I met you—" The cafe door flies open. Two tall men step inside, eyes sweeping the room. Lars goes pale. William grabs him, pulls him through the back exit and into a narrow alley. They run. Snow bursts beneath their boots. Footsteps thunder behind them. William swerves left, vaults a trash bin. Lars wheezing as he follows. They duck into a dark garage and crouch behind an SUV. Outside, the pursuers hesitate, then retreat. Lars clutches his chest, gasping. "Her people! Harold was right. She doesn't just erase traces, she removes people." William stares down at the USB drive clenched in his palm. Proof that could change everything, and a death warrant all the same. He must find Harold before Camilla silences him for good. Oslo is locked in ice, but the fire inside William burns hotter than ever. This is no longer a hidden battle. It is survival. Dawn in London remains bleak when news from Norway strikes Clarence House like a delayed explosion. At 5:47 a.m., an encrypted message arrives from Camilla's shadow. Marcus Kane, a former MI5 operative, on her payroll since 2015. W met Lars Hansen, digging deeper. Harold may be compromised. Camilla sits before her dressing table mirror, powder brush suspended midair. Her reflection shows hollowed eyes and lips drawn into a blade-thin line. She lowers the brush. The soft click sounds like a starting pistol. "Call Harold, immediately." Her tone is low, controlled. Eleanor, her private secretary and the sole guardian of the safe containing sensitive files, dials at once. 3 rings. Then Harold's hoarse voice answers. "Hello?" "Harold, it's me," Camilla murmurs, sweetness edged with poison. "The prince is in Oslo. You know what must be done." Silence follows. Only the sound of wind howling through a cracked window by a fjord. "Your Majesty, I don't want to, but my family—" "Your family remains safe as long as you remain silent." Camilla cuts in sharply. "Otherwise, there will be problems in London. Is that understood?" A swallow is audible on the line. "Understood." "Good. Speak to no one." She ends the call and turns to Eleanor. "Create a financial scandal. Harold Eriksson. Money laundering tied to the 2019 palace renovation. I want flawless forged documents within 6 hours." 6 hours later, Oslo erupts. Dagbladet breaks the story. Former British royal advisor implicated in construction money laundering scheme. A stolen photograph from 2018 shows Harold standing beside Camilla at a ribbon-cutting ceremony. Beneath it, unnamed reliable sources publish fabricated invoices alleging Harold diverted 2.4 million kroner to a Cayman Islands account. Norwegian authorities respond immediately. An investigation is opened, Harold is summoned, his home searched. From a concealed number, Harold calls William, his voice shaking. "They're destroying me, Your Highness. She won't stop." In a small hotel in Major Stuen, William sits by the window, his laptop ablaze with red headlines. The porcelain of his coffee cup cracks under his grip. "She fights dirty," he mutters. The British Embassy calls soon after. "Your Highness, we strongly advise you to leave Oslo." This situation risks serious diplomatic consequences. That night, William moves again, checking into a secluded guest house under the alias Wilhelm Andersen. The room smells of old pine. Beyond the window lies an ancient cemetery. He opens his laptop and reaches out to Harold's former secretary. Meanwhile, contacts in London trace Harold's movements through Camilla's intercepted call. By morning, new headlines flood the screens. Prince William advised to exit Norway amid financial scandal. Camilla appears on the BBC, her expression carved into practiced concern. We are deeply worried about William's well-being. He needs rest. Later, alone in her study, she strokes a photograph of a young Tom Parker Bowles. "I'm sorry, my son," she whispers. Tears fall, then are quickly wiped away. She calls Marcus. "Double the team. If William reaches Harold, end it." Back in Oslo, William pulls out the hidden USB and listens once more. His fists clench, his eyes bloodshot. He knows he is walking along a razor's edge, but now the blade is in his hand. And Camilla has just awakened a lion she should never have disturbed. By the 5th day in Norway, William is running on exhaustion. He guides the black Volvo along perilous fjord roads, tires shrieking as they skim patches of black ice. The local radio crackles to life. Former British royal advisor Harold Eriksson accused of money laundering. Norwegian police investigation underway. William snaps it off, his knuckles whitening around the steering wheel. Camilla isn't just silencing Harold. She's incinerating his reputation so that no one will ever believe him. But William knows the truth. He has to reach Harold before it's too late. The burner phone suddenly rings, its unfamiliar tone slicing through the silence. William pulls onto a snow-choked forest shoulder, heart pounding. "Hello? Prince William?" The voice on the other end is aged, raw with fear and cold. "Harold Eriksson, I know you've been searching for me. Meet me at cabin 47, at the end of Fjordveien, near Lake Tyrifjorden. Come alone, no protection. I don't have much time." "Are you safe?" William asks quietly. "No, but I'm finished with running. Come now, before they find me." The line goes dead. William accelerates through the pine forest, snow spraying in his wake. His thoughts whirl, Camilla's public warmth masking an iron grip in the shadows. Harold is the final piece. If he disappears, the truth dies with him. After the last bend, the cabin comes into view. Small, roof sagging under snow, smoke curling lazily from the chimney. William parks 100 meters away, cuts the engine, and approaches on foot. The door creaks open just enough for a skeletal hand to beckon him inside. Harold Eriksson stands there, hair bleached white, eyes hollow, wrapped in a thick sweater, yet still shuddering. "Inside, quickly," he whispers, bolting the door shut behind them. The fire crackles, filling the room with the sharp scent of pine. Harold pours 2 unsteady shots of aquavit and slides one across the table. "You resemble your mother more than I expected," he says softly, voice breaking. "Diana once asked me about Camilla. I stayed silent then. I won't anymore." William sinks into a worn armchair, leaving the drink untouched. "Tell me everything." Harold exhales and sits opposite him, the firelight carving deep lines into his face. "In 2018, Camilla summoned me to a sealed room at Clarence House. She spoke of new blood, of diversity. But it was always about Tom, her son. She wanted him installed as senior ceremonial advisor, a position barred to anyone outside the Windsor line. I objected. Protocol was clear, but she had leverage." "What kind of leverage?" threats, incentives. She knew of an old financial mistake I'd made. In return for my cooperation, she promised funding for my Norwegian charity and a generous retirement arrangement. I agreed. His shoulders sag. I altered the internal minutes, changed the eligibility criteria. Tom was placed on the reserve list, only months away from official appointment. William's fists tighten as heat surges through him. Do you have proof? Harold rises shakily and opens a concealed compartment behind a pine panel. From it, he retrieves a small, black recorder. The meeting was recorded, my insurance. Camilla's voice is unmistakable. Tom will bring new life. We must modernize, even if we bend a few rules. My signature, hers. He presses the device into William's palm, hands trembling. Take it. Use it if you must. I've lost everything. William grips the recorder like a live explosive. She framed you for laundering. She won't stop. Harold gives a weary smile. I know. 2 nights ago, men broke into my Oslo flat and tore it apart. I escaped through the back. My family in England, she threatens them. But I won't let her win. Not again. William stands and rests a hand on the old man's shoulder. I promise you'll be protected. Your identity stays hidden. I'll get you somewhere safe, the embassy, a secure house. But first, I have to return to London. Harold nods, tears tracing lines down his weathered cheeks. Thank you, for Diana, for the truth. They clasp hands in the glow of the fire, an alliance formed between 2 men driven into corners. William slips the recorder into a concealed zip pocket sewn into his coat lining. I'll reach out through your secretary, he says. Stay here. Trusted people will collect you within 48 hours. Outside, William starts the engine, then freezes as headlights sweep through the trees. A black sedan rounds the bend. His stomach drops. Camilla's hunters. They've tracked someone. Ingrid, Harold, or him. William slams the accelerator, tires spinning wildly on ice. The pursuing car stays tight, high beams flooding his mirrors. After a frantic escape, he finally shakes them and reaches a small hotel. He calls his pilot on an encrypted line. Prepare the jet. Departure in 3 hours. Then he sits, replays the recording. Camilla's voice cuts through the earpiece, cold, decisive. Tom is the future. We must do this. William closes his eyes, tears slipping free, not from fear, but from fury and determination. The pact has been sealed in shadow. Now it is time to return to London and confront the Queen. At 3:17 a.m., a black Range Rover slips through the side gate of Clarence House, headlights dark, no escort. William has returned from Oslo on a sleepless red-eye, his gaze fixed on his phone. He keeps replaying the recording Harold gave him, Camilla's voice sharp through the hiss of a fireplace. Tom will be senior ceremonial advisor. No one is to question it. Each sentence lands like a blow. Inside, the palace corridors lie in shadow. Wall sconces spill warm pools of light beneath rows of ancestral portraits. William moves straight to the oak door of Camilla's private study, the room where she once welcomed prime ministers, where she once laughed with Diana. He raps 3 quick, dry knocks, then pushes in without waiting. Camilla sits behind the antique desk, wrapped in a deep purple silk robe, silver hair pinned high. A lone desk lamp carves harsh lines into her face, creases deepened, eyes reddened by exhaustion. A cold teacup and a scatter of shredded papers clutter the surface. She looks up, not startled, only a faint twitch betraying her tension. "You're back," she croaks, her voice rough with smoke. I assumed you'd linger in Norway, admire the snow. William closes the door and turns the key. The click snaps through the room like a gunshot. He sets the recorder on the desk, squarely between them. Listen. Camilla goes still, staring at the device as if it might fire. Where did you get that? From Harold Erickson, William replies evenly. He sends his regards. He taps his phone. The 2018 audio fills the study, Camilla's measured tone. The criteria must change. Tom Parker Bowles is ideal. Leave no official trace. Harold's nervous laugh follows, the faint clink of glasses. Color drains from Camilla's face. She reaches for the teacup, her hand shaking so violently the porcelain rattles. It's a fabrication, she insists, forcing calm. Audio can be altered. William produces printed emails from his pocket. Encrypted exchanges, Harold's handwritten signature, minutes stamped confidential. He places them down one by one, deliberate, final. These as well, you bribed, threatened, erased records. But you misjudged one thing. Harold kept copies, and now I have them. Camilla surges to her feet, chair crashing behind her. She strides around the desk, silk slippers grinding paper into the carpet. You would ruin your own stepmother over a bastard? Panic fractures her voice. Tom is my blood, my only son. Charles never acknowledged him, but I did. William doesn't move. His voice drops, heavy as thunder. The monarchy isn't your private board game. That role belongs to Windsor blood, not the child of a broken marriage. He points at her chest. You betrayed my mother's legacy, Queen Elizabeth's, and mine. She laughs bitterly, tears cutting through powder. Legacy? You preach legacy after nearly walking away over Meghan? Spare me your righteousness. She lunges for the internal phone. I'll call security. You'll be labeled an intruder. William catches her wrist, firm, controlled. Go ahead, and I release this to the BBC, Sky, the Mail, all at once. Imagine tomorrow's headline. Queen Camilla manipulates royal appointments for secret son. He lets go and steps back. Or choose the other option. Withdraw. Now. The room thickens with silence. The clock ticks. Camilla studies him, eyes shining with tears and fury. At last she collapses into the chair, burying her face in her hands. You win, she whispers, broken. But you'll never understand what I sacrificed to reach this throne. William offers no reply. He unlocks the door. At the threshold, he adds without turning, You have 3 days to announce extended health leave. No public appearances. Tom never becomes an advisor. Miss any part, and the recording goes public. 3 days later, at 10 a.m., Clarence House releases a statement. Queen Camilla requires long-term rest for health reasons. Prince William will assume additional duties. The press erupts, though the truth remains hidden. Papers print smiling photos of Camilla among roses, wishing Her Majesty a speedy recovery. Inside the palaces, the mood turns somber. Servants whisper along corridors. The Queen no longer comes to breakfast. Some glimpse Camilla drifting past the library, silk slippers dragging across Persian rugs, avoiding William's eyes as he leaves meetings. She has grown gaunt. Her silver hair is untended, makeup abandoned. On the Kensington balcony, William looks out over fog-shrouded London. Catherine wraps her arms around him and murmurs, I won't ask what you did, but I know you protected our family. He squeezes her hand, gaze fixed on distant Clarence House. Victory tastes bitter. It has carved a wound that won't heal. The monarchy endures, but cracks have formed, and no remedy will seal them. In her sealed chamber, Camilla sits by the hearth, clutching an old photograph. She and Tom smiling on her wedding day. Tears blur their faces. "I'm sorry, my son," she whispers. Outside, Big Ben tolls slow and heavy, mourning a dynasty fractured from within. Do you think Camilla's interference in royal appointments was driven by genuine devotion to her son, or by her own hunger for influence? And does that leave you feeling compassion for her, or anger at what she's done? Share your thoughts with us in the comment section. Remember to like, share, and subscribe for more. Also, click the next video showing on your screen. You might enjoy it.